Hi, I'm Elizabeth,
And I'm Cindy.
and we're here with another Feeding Frenzy for the Master Key System by Charles Haanel. And we are on part 1, day 31. Yesterday was a hard one.
Yeah, it was a hard one.
I'm hoping today goes a little easier.
Me too.
Alright, we're still talking about thoughts. Every thought, therefore, is a cause in every condition and effect. For this reason, it is absolutely essential that you control your thoughts so as to bring forth only desirable conditions.
Okay.
Well, that one's easier
That
to swallow.
sort of pulls it all together too for me.
Yeah, it does. Alright, so how does it pull it together for you?
It's hard to put it into words though. The thoughts become things, and so we should control our thoughts so that we don't have things show up that we don't want. That all thoughts originate from God, but as I said the last time, was that we taint it somewhat by the time it gets from the original.
Well, by the time it gets from the original, which comes from God, by the time it goes through all of our filtering system, which is where we are in the moment, how we grew up, what we've been taught, our views on things, our prejudices, our judgments, our culture,
our society that we're
what's
in.
Acceptable and what's not. By the time it makes it through every bit of that, then it doesn't look like the original.
Right. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. So by the time we have formed the thought to where we understand it, then it's already been twisted by all those filters. And it becomes, when we dwell on it for whatever amount of time it takes for it to become a thing, and I think that depends, as we're learning in the 40-day thing, that depends on a lot of different things too, as to how quickly that thought becomes a true manifestation that we can perceive with our senses. And that depends on where we are between the physical world and the spiritual world. And the more spiritual we become, the quicker we can make that happen. So yeah, I see this sort of, like I said, it pulls it together for me.
It does me too. And it does make sense.
And I like this because it's pulling the scientific into the spiritual.
Even though it seems really hard to chew on and to bite, if we sit down and we actually look at it piece by piece and think about it, then we can understand, all right, where it originates and how. I'm not seeing what I want to see on the outside is because it's gone through this many filters, and yeah, it may start it out as this big of a potential, but by the time it runs through all of my filtering systems, it may be this big now.
Right. So do you think that what we're trying to do with all of these studies is to get rid of all those filters? So that we're just back to the original thought from God?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So if we look at that, if we look at this, studying these books, more as to get rid of all our filters.
To get back to the original thought. To get to my higher self. To start living life from my I am. Yes, that's exactly where I want to be. That's exactly where I want to get.
Wow, that puts a whole new light on all of the things we've talked about. We're just, peeling back that onion, we've called it before, which is really just getting rid of those filters. So that, I'm picturing that onion, each one of those filters, filtering a little bit more light out, to where you get to that core where it's dark in there because we've got so many filters, but the more we peel them away.
But as we get down to it and we start peeling it off, we realize that there's a light in there, and it's not dark.
Well, that's true.
That is the light of God, and that is what I've covered.
So instead of the light coming in, maybe it filters the light going out. That's good stuff.
So when I remove the skin of the onion, I'm allowing, that children's song, that child's song, this little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. I can't do that until I start peeling back the layers. And you'll notice a bigger and bigger glow as the layers become thinner and thinner and thinner. Because it's not dark inside.
You're right.
It's light inside. My light is inside. And so as we peel back these layers, then we start to see the imminence of that light.
But you know what else I just realized is that when we start peeling back our layers and that light when you have candles on each end of the room, the closer they get together, the more they become one light.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so the more of us that are peeling back those layers, we all become one light instead of
bigger
individual lights with the filters on. We can't combine.
You ever been to the concert where you're standing there with a lighter, you know, and as you're standing in the audience and you're looking at the surrounding people with lighters, you see each little individual flame. But if you've ever seen a filmed concert where they pull back to see, it becomes one huge light emanating from the station, so that you're not seeing each little individual. You're seeing the one light that's emanating from that.
Cool.
And I see us as each little big flames, you know, walking around, and this is the light of mine. You know, I see that. But as we pull back from that, we see that this is one huge light.
I never thought you'd say one.
I know, me.
Mallory, better
That's
be
me
careful.
getting in touch with my...
She's got competition now.
Yeah, I know she does, right? We don't have to worry. There's no YouTubers that are going to lose a job anytime soon.
That's good stuff, though.
But I see, the more that we do this, I see myself pulling back to look at
The big picture.
the big picture, right, as God sees it. I really, that is one of my desires, is to live from my I amness. And in order to do that, I've got to be able to pull away. I can't be afraid to pull away the layers and let them go.
Definitely.
Whether that's singing on camera or...
And no, I will not cut it out.
I knew you wouldn't be. But that's okay. I can be okay with that. But I say that's what we're doing with this, you know. Each getting our little flames together. And
So we become
being
one.
that big light.
Which we were all along.
Well, until more see their individual flames, and then they see the picture, the bigger picture.
Right.
Which is the whole point to all of this.
Just to help open that consciousness.
Until they change the collective, right? To the 100th monkey.
That's right. Good stuff.
That's really good stuff.
Yeah, sure.
Extreme.